Shit.
Chocolate. You make me feel.
Oh,
that song.
Now I don't know. I don't remember where I was going anymore.
Hello and welcome to the Magical Bro Podcast.
Episode 7. I am your magical bro host, Noonie. Joined by Mike.
Yes, hello, everyone.
The always wonderful Mondo.
Hey, how's it going?
His roommate Juan, who's also pretty great.
Hello.
And special guest today on the revolving chair that is a special guest is Gabriel.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Hi, Gabe.
I originally wanted to start the podcast with Gabriel, myself, Mondo, and Mike, mostly because I just wanted like a variety of things, but due to time scheduling and whatnot, it just wasn't able to happen. But we have him on now, so that's pretty great.
Yay!
I agree. I am pretty great.
He is also
And
partially
that's
the
end
reason.
of, that's the end of Gabe's feature. Bye, Gabe.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
see you guys.
The main reason, well, another reason that I wanted Gabriel on the show was also because he's, I guess you could say the main reason that I'm into anime as much as I am now. We met sometime during high school, I guess freshman year.
That's about right. I'm
Yeah.
a bad influence.
You're a horrible influence. You turned me into disgusting weeaboo.
Gabe,
I've seen it.
Gabe approached Noonie like a king would a peasant, wearing his wearing his
My Naruto
traditional
headband.
his Naruto headband, yes, his Naruto headband and his Miku T-shirt,
Oh my god.
That beautiful coat that he was wearing.
that beautiful trench coat and cargo shorts.
His combat boots, everything
And the
was on
fingerless
point.
gloves that said, "I might shoot up the school someday."
They literally said that right on there.
That's how you know he was serious.
There were more lenient times back
He'd
then.
constantly carry around his death note.
Yeah.
But to keep the same rolling, the anime that we chose for this episode was Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. Woo!
Yeah.
Mostly due to the little, I guess you could call it a teaser that Gynax West had posted on their Twitter, where it was a silhouette of Panty and Stocking, and they said more information were to come. If anybody wants to correct me on what I'm about to read, go right ahead. But basically, nothing's been said. Nothing's been said on that front, and as far as I've been told, yeah, not
Nothing
like,
concrete
yeah.
or
What's
like,
basically
telling.
been said was that Gynax West has set up a Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt project team, and are planning on following these steps as followed. 1, release a new product. 2, have a Panty and Stocking exhibition. And 3, Panty and Stocking cafe in Kobe anime, which I don't know what that
I
is.
don't know where that is.
Yeah, or Kobe anime or whatever that is.
Wait, new product?
Yeah.
I hope you guys are ready for a Panty and Stocking MMO.
Oh, no. I know. That's like worse than a pachinko machine.
Well, I mean,
I think more realistically, it's probably going to be a figure of some sort.
I mean, it might be a figure, but I mean, maybe we could get an OVA. Like, if anything, I feel like it won't be a season, but I think it might be like at best it'll be an OVA.
at best it'll be keychains.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It'll be a movie, and you can get your free keychains like the fucking every Kamen Rider movie.
Ooh.
I don't know. I mean, for them to kind of like hype it up as far as like teasing it that much, it seems like even a figure would just be like kind of underplaying that, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, they hyped up an announcement to an announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I mean-
anything could happen.
This is Japan.
This
And it
Japan.
is Gynax, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is
I mean,
Gynax.
and they're known
Yeah,
for just
they-
fucking with people.
They're littered with, budgeting problems.
Yeah. It's Gynax West, and supposedly they are not affiliated as far as I guess money is with the actual Gainax company.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, or that's what they say. But they are still affiliated, so
I mean, they are in name.
yeah, they are in name Gainax, so there's that. But I'm really curious as to what's going to happen, mostly because like most of the people that created Panty and Stocking went on to form Studio Trigger, and if there's like going to be any licensing issues or any royalty issues that's going to come about with this, because apparently it's already come about with the creator of Evangelion. What's his name? Hideaki Anno.
Anno?
Yeah. Apparently, what's the name of the company? Kahara is suing Gainax over a royalty agreement relating to income from projects that Hideaki was a part of, and also that they loaned him 100 million yen, and they haven't paid him back.
I'm assuming it has to do with that student program, possibly the one where they were really. I'm just assuming. I don't really know, but the last thing I remember him working with Trigger on was all those like little shorts that they were doing from the student projects, like the same thing that birthed Me.
Oh, that stuff.
Like Anno helped with like a bunch of the shorts that were being created at that point. So I don't know if it has to do with that, maybe, because I mean Trigger was all over that thing.
But I'm pretty curious as to what's going to happen with that. Seeing as this, I didn't know that this thing actually happened. I was just on a Crunchyroll thing about the actual announcement. They were like, yeah, and just so you know, Gainax is being sued right now because of this. And I was like, oh, well, that's good to know. Maybe it might actually just be a keychain or some figure or something.
We were gonna give you a new season, but due to recent legal issues, all we're able to make is a keychain.
But what a lovely keychain it is.
One keychain to one lucky contestant. If you call this number right now.
Oh.
No, wait, never mind. Our phone lines are also down.
The number you were trying to reach has been disconnected. It's always about money.
It's always about money.
It's always about money.
Speaking of money, does anybody know the budget for this? I didn't look it up. I'm just actually...
I honestly have no idea. I mean, I'd assume it was pretty decently budgeted. However, I think one of the more attractive reasons why they chose the main art style that they did was most likely due to a smaller budget. So, I mean...
It is cheaper to make.
Yeah, so I can't really say that it was a super high budget, but I really don't think it was, like, anything...
I mean, I think even some of the parts were done in Flash from way.
I mean, you could tell it was done in Flash in some part. It's like, I know they tried to use the whole sliding character thing, like just sliding across the screen as like a gag, but I've seen that in other shows, and I gotta tell you that I'm not buying that shit. That was just pure budgeting issues. That's just pure budgeting issues. I think the last show I saw that in was in Tokyo Ghoul, the second season. My God, that looked disgusting. Like, they had a character, like, they were supposed to be jumping in the air, but instead they moved the whole background behind the character to keep it in the same frame. And I was just like, this is happening in real time. And it was by none other than Studio Pirate, the ones that do the Naruto show. So, I mean, and it's funny because those people don't have any budgeting problems. They've milked Naruto for all that they can get, and they're just being cheap.
They're just stingy.
Yeah, so yeah, like I will say that the show probably didn't have an enormous budget.
Yeah, probably not. But what do you guys actually think of the style itself?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love that it drew all its influences from like Western cartoons and stuff. So it was nice.
Yeah. According to a Did You Know anime that I watched, which is a full extent of the research that I did for this show, it was they were inspired one day when they came over to an American con and they were watching Drawn Together on the TV and they were like, man, that's fucking filthy as shit. Why don't we try doing that in Japan?
In Japan, and so they did.
And so they did, and
like,
it fucking
we need a
bombed.
catchy art style, and so they looked to Gendy, and they were like, I like the Powerpuff Girls and Dexter. And so they took his art style and they made Panty and Stocking.
And they made Panty and Stocking.
What did you guys think of the transitions between like their transformation sequences and like the regular, cartoonish art style?
I liked it.
I thought it was alright. It felt pretty well.
I felt like where it showed the most was coincidentally the episode about the possessed shit. I loved how like it initially
the first
like
That was the
episode?
first episode.
yeah, but like I loved how like it showed just like that old man and like he's working like as a business person and he's just trying to get home to see his daughter and like all this shit's
Oh.
happening and yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like in a completely different art style, and then he runs into the angels, and then they're fighting the possessed shit, and then yeah.
I think the funny thing is that like before watching this, I didn't even know that this was going to be the art style for the show. Like, I don't know. Every time I saw something related to Panty and Stocking, it
Oh,
was
you
always
saw
like
that.
a
It was always
super
like the-
detailed,
Their
like
angelic
highly
transformation.
sexualized. Yeah, and I was just like, oh, that shit
That's
looks pretty
obviously
sexy.
Yeah, I
I
can't
do
wait
want
to
to
watch
watch
that.
it. And then I was like, why the fuck am I watching Powerpuff Girls? And then
Powerpuff Girls
Juana
aren't
got everything
sexy.
and told me it wasn't Powerpuff Girls.
I mean, I don't know. Like that was just like initially, like just upon watching the show, I was like, that looks a lot like Powerpuff Girls, and I just rolled with it, and it turned out that they did take heavily from Western artists and mostly Gendy, and I mean, I really like Gendy, so it was nice. It was a really short show.
Yeah,
I mean, 12 episodes.
I mean,
Considering every
what
episode
their
was pretty short.
yeah.
considering what their pitch was for this, I don't think they wanted to take like the biggest chance.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see that. They're being a little bit, so. I'd actually like to ask, did anyone ever read the manga that had to do with this show?
What? There was a manga?
Yes.
There was a manga. I remember
I
you
only
telling
know
me
about the
something about
webcomic.
this.
Did somebody
Well,
say manga?
webcomic, really. I mean, I guess.
Yeah,
that's what
season
it-
2
Oh.
webcomic.
Yeah.
I've seen some parts of it, but I haven't actually gone through it.
What
Is
did you
it-
think
wait,
of the parts that you saw?
Is it directly related, or is it like?
I mean,
does it
it's more
continue
just
from the
like-
actual ending?
I wouldn't say it's related, but it's not unrelated. It's just like them
In
going
between?
on different missions and stuff.
I gotcha.
From what I read, it was perfectly acceptable, not really offensive or anything. But
I mean,
it's not exactly season 2.
yeah, no, it wasn't season 2, but like what I did know, and I think I talked to Noonie about it prior, like it did add certain things, like there was actual nudity in the webcomic,
They showed their JJs.
and I feel like they show like well, of course they weren't like. The webcomic didn't have any of their transformation sequences. Like it didn't have the art style suddenly shifting, so they were constantly in their cartoon forms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt like the humor was less, like it wasn't restricted to begin with by any means, but like it was even more laid
less
back
restricted.
in the webcomic from what I had read. So it was entertaining, but like as you said, I mean, it was no season 2.
Like when this first was announced in 2010, I remember being super excited about it because I had recently around that time rewatched Invader Zim for like a second or third time or something like that. I didn't have cable and I had like the season 3 DVD and I just kept popping it in there and I was like, oh man, I can't wait to watch Panty and Stocking. And and then it came out and I was severely disappointed. But after actually watching it and watching it subbed, I realized why I was so disappointed.
And
Well,
why-
I guess, but I guess we'll get to that later, or we can get to it now. Fuck it.
Let's do it, Danny.
Yeah, let's do it now.
What was your disappointments, your gripes? With
Well, it wasn't with the actual voice acting. I thought that was fine, but I guess the direction wasn't that great. As far as what they wanted to do with it, because it's already fairly raunchy. It's already fairly, I guess, edgy.
Oh, so you felt
Yeah.
like the dub was trying to add on to
Yeah,
it.
it kept
just didn't
kept
go well.
pushing and pushing, like trying to be like even more fucking edgy, making
Yeah.
even more shitty ass puns, and then like it just really turned me the fuck off.
Yeah. I only watched like 2 episodes of it dubbed, and that was like after they announced the dub. I think Funimation was the one that did it, and they're like, "Yeah, it's gonna be dubbed." And so I watched like the first episode technically because it's 2 per episode, but I watched it and I was like, "Yeah, this isn't doing it for me."
Yeah, and I know that they take some liberties with the with the translations themselves, because if you literally translate it, it's
Yeah,
stupid.
I mean, you have to use some sort of localization in some
Yeah.
cases.
But to have it changed to the extent that it was, to the point where when I watched it subtitled, when I was watching with Gabriel at his place, and there were points where I was like, oh shit, this is a lot better than the fucking dub. Here they said this stupid piece of shit, and and watching it subtitled, I was like, this is actually funny. I
It's
actually
almost like you're
enjoyed
watching
this.
a different show.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't have a lot of the charm that the Japanese one did. Especially like considering that like the Japanese one, like they threw in a lot of random like English phrases, like as insults or like as I don't know, just like adding more to the whole raunchiness, I guess. But I don't know. I thought those were some of like the more funny parts too, where they would just randomly throw in you fucking whore, and it's like
she said that in English.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. But I mean, I think that's a similar, like, that's a common problem for a lot of, like, dubbing, where they take too much liberty on the script itself and they decide to add weird shit that just doesn't make any sense, or it doesn't feel natural to the show.
Like, they might think it might make it better to
them.
to translate it to, like, the main audience or something like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not one that usually bashes dubs that much. Like, if they're pretty bad, they're pretty bad, yeah. But I usually don't have a problem watching a dub if it's decent or okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna go out of my way and say, "Oh, dubs are terrible, dubs are fucking awful." But more often than not, that's the issue. Is in that, like, one, they either don't put enough effort into the actual voices themselves, and they sound like either they don't want to be there, or they add too much like feeling to something, or not enough. Like, it's always one or the other. It's an extreme. That they're either lacking or adding too much, and like that. I just feel like that's like a common problem for dubs, that it constantly does that. Whereas like the original voices and stuff, like they have things done a certain way, and I feel like sometimes when they fuck those things up, you don't get an accurate feel for the character that they were trying to portray in the original voices as you would hearing it from the source.
Yeah, and
like the voices definitely they do take a big part in kind of shaping the characters themselves, and if they don't get the voice right, then it kind of just ruins it.
Yeah, and going back to the dubs, I've noticed that non-American dubs, I gravitate towards those, like the Latin Spanish or Italian. I like those dubs better sometimes than the American dubs.
Because
Juan is fluent in Italian, by the way.
Is he really?
I mean,
no, I'm not.
Oh, I was
mean,
gonna
you could,
say, like,
if you know Spanish, you could understand some Italians.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
I
like,
understand that, the cognitives and such.
yeah, like Evangelion. So I watched it all in English, and I got used to the Evangelion voices. But then I decided to watch it in Spanish, and I liked the Spanish better, only because like Asuka is supposed to be German, and in Spanish, in the Mexican, and I want to distinguish Spanish versus Latin and Spaniard. Yeah, in Spaniard, because Spaniard I don't like it. But the Latin Spanish, they gave her a sort of a German accent.
Oh, she had an actual accent.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wasn't Asuka like half German, half Japanese, anyways?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'd rather her have had an accent and such. So that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the voice actress for Asuka in Spanish, she died 2 years back.
Oh,
Yay!
No. That's some depressing news to dawn on.
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Thanks.
You
Well,
won.
No, the only reason why I know this is because they were trying to dub the rebuilds, and they were trying to bring back the original voice actress.
You should lead with that.
I'm sorry.
Speaking of which, on that subject, I don't want to go too far off topic, but did you guys ever hear that they had originally gotten Asuka and Shinji's American dub actors to do like all sorts of commercials, and one of them was for it was like practicing safe sex, I believe, or something like that. And they like, okay, this is what, like, the story is fucking great. Like, apparently they had gotten their voice actors like at the height of their fame, like when the dub had come out, and all the kids fucking loved the show even though they didn't understand shit about it. And they're like, you know what, you two? You can make a really big influence by doing this fucking commercial. And they're like, sure, why not? Well, it turns out the commercial was about practicing safe sex and the dangers of, doing things bareback.
And AIDS.
And so what they did was they got their voice actors to... I forgot what the scene exactly was, but it was
they were in a car.
They're having sex in a car,
Yeah.
yes. And so it was literally Shinji and Asuka having sex in a car. And, like, they had gotten everything set up, and they were going to do it, but then they didn't air it. And the only one who has a copy of that commercial
is the voice actress.
is the voice actress of Asuka. She has that commercial still.
It's in a tape.
It's in a tape, and she says that someday when she stops being lazy, she's going to actually upload it. And I look forward to that because I want to hear it.
Yeah,
I want somebody to animate it.
I'm sure you'll get that fairly quickly.
Like, I just remember hearing that story, and I was like, holy shit, that's some weird shit going on. But yeah. Okay.
But the money.
The monies. But yeah. Steering back from Evangelion and HIV.
I actually like the English voice actors. Like, the black priest sounds like a black guy.
Yeah.
The slut sounds like a slut. You know, the fucking gothic girl sounds like your typical nasally goth girl.
Yeah, they nailed it with their casting. It's just they were bad with, as you said, the direction.
Just the direction in general. And as far as the Japanese voices, I also fucking love those. It was pretty great.
I love Stocking.
Yeah.
I love Guts. Guts. Goddamn.
Guts.
I love Chuck.
Okay,
love
Juan,
Chuck.
I mean, Noonie, I
He was
don't
always
that.
thinking about Berserk.
You're always thinking about Berserk. They're gonna get off the boat someday, Noonie.
But then they have to get back on the boat, Mike.
They're gonna get back on the boat and go back to their original village, and then Skull Knight will be. But moving back on, yes.
Chuck is great.
Chuck
yes.
is great.
Chuck
The
is
voice
great.
actors were good. Stalking is great.
Before we get too far up ahead, I guess I should mention the kind of plot, I guess, that keeps this episodic thing going. So basically, there are two fallen angels under the, I guess, command or head of a priest.
Minister.
A minister.
Yeah.
Is he a minister?
No, he's.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
mentioned they referred to him as a minister.
They call him a father.
yeah.
Papa.
Well, I don't know how the hierarchy for church things works.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some churchy bullshit.
Yeah.
thing.
And they have to go about destroying these ghosts that happen to be, you know, apparitions that form from people that have died horrible ways. Yeah. Like tripping on a booger and falling, or, you know,
They're
fucking
vengeful spirits.
shitting yourself to
essentially,
death. Yeah, they're vengeful spirits.
most of the time.
And whenever they vanquish these monsters, they get these heaven coins. And if they collect enough heaven coins, they could get to heaven. Woo.
They can go back. Yeah.
They can go back
Or they
to
can buy
heaven.
shit.
Or they can buy
How
shit.
many is enough?
How much was
36? I don't remember. I didn't count.
I'm pretty
Isn't it
sure
100?
No, I
No,
don't
it
think I
wasn't
was
that
100.
much.
I think it was like in the 900s or so.
Holy shit.
Oh.
I didn't see 900 little circles when he pulled up the little
Well,
thing.
The thing is, like, they never had enough because they were constantly spending the coins that they got, or they were doing other stupid shit to lose the money that they had.
Like the pudding.
Like the
Like the
pudding.
pudding.
So, I mean, like, they never got anywhere at all, ever. So it was like a constant loop where they were just stuck chasing ghosts.
I mean, they did kind of mention though that they kind of liked it on Earth.
Yeah, that's why they kind of just stick around. and
Yeah, they're
such.
just like, it's whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Heaven's alright, but so is Earth.
And the plot doesn't really matter. It's just something to keep it going. It's much like a Western show. It's just based on, you know, kind of a monster of the day.
Yeah, like
thing.
the plot just serves as kind of like a skeleton base, and then like they just build from there, and they just use that as, you know, the
Something to
to
start.
drive the episode to be like, all right, well, here's the next episode. That's why it's happening.
There you go.
It was episodic up to the end where things actually started going together one after another. I mean,
What are we
Yeah.
doing today, Brain? Same thing we do every day. Take over the world.
so yeah.
Yeah, when it first started out, it started out with that poop thing. It started out pretty strong, you know,
It was a good introduction.
pretty heavy in the raunch. I didn't remember that from 2010. I just remember I didn't like it. But watching it
Megan
again,
was
I was
disgusted
like-
by the poops.
I love the poops. watching it again, I was like, you know what, this isn't that bad. I'll keep giving it the shot. I mean, I have to for this podcast, but I want to do it. I'm not forcing myself to do this. And then as it progressed, I felt like it slowly got better. Like after they stopped pouring in the shit and the vomit and just those.
Chocolate, you make me feel chocolate. I love that
make
song.
me cry.
I love that song so much. It was such a good song. And the plot for it was so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Just having Stocking fall in love with one of the ghosts, and he just so happens to be the ugliest fucking ghost.
He's a piece of fucking shit.
It's terrible.
We'll get to that when we get to that. But it would be typical for that fucking gothic girl to fall for a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Not speaking from experiences or anything, just
Who hurt
Of course,
you,
from
Noonie?
Downtown.
Noonie, were you the gothic
hurt
girl
you,
or the
Noonie?
piece of shit?
Who hurt you, Noonie?
can I be both at the same time?
He hurt himself.
Can my dick be the gothic girl and can my hand be the piece of shit?
Are you saying you like to masturbate with shit on your hand?
Yeah, he gets like a permanent marker, and then he puts the black ring and then the blue rings, and he's like, "There you go, it's got gothic makeup on." That reminds me of the guy in high school I used to sit across from, like at lunch. Like I would be with like my
The guy that'd be
friends.
coloring his dick.
No, yeah, no, it'd be like we'd have tables, right? And so this dude would sit by himself like 5 tables down, but like you could see because like everybody would sit to one side. And so I'd be sitting there with my group, and every day out of boredom, we would pick at this guy's appearance because he was this really tall guy with like short hair, and he had eyeliner and black lipstick, and he had like gauges and everything. And nobody ever said anything to him. Nobody ever looked his way. But every day he would sit there and he wouldn't eat. He would just stare forward, and it bothered me because I had so many questions that were never going to be answered. And like I was just like, does he enjoy the makeup? Is his heart as black as the makeup that he is wearing right now? Like what is wrong with this man? And I will never understand.
He's just a side character, Mike.
I
He was just there to be there to fill the
obsessed
space.
with like what was
filling in
wrong
seats.
with him.
There you go. See, Gabriel gets it. He understands life. You know where that guy
How
is?
TV shows work.
He works at Walmart now.
Does he really?
Was it Gabe?
Kate's just crying right now. Like,
Fuck you, Mike.
but no, yeah. I like goth girls.
Yeah. I guess that's a common consensus with this group of people.
I mean, I just like stockings.
I mean, that was what made it so good. It was like that and the big tits and the sweet tooth and the singing.
I don't know about the sweet tooth. That's the only part that I didn't like about that character.
I mean, they made that episode where
Wait, that's her whole character.
That was
I know.
essentially her
That's
entire
why I never said I loved her character.
Noonie didn't like your character. You liked her.
I thought her character was all right. I just
I
liked
loved
how
the
she
stockings.
looked.
You know,
Like, I like the character design.
in all honesty, I really wasn't a fan of Penny. Like,
I kind of
That
found
was
it
alright.
really disgusting.
I just didn't
Like,
like her.
What, you don't like the way she
maybe it
picks her
was-
nose or what?
No, just
Maybe
her
it was
in
like the
general.
art style and everything, like a combination of like the art style and just like how she was like super slutty or whatever. Which, you know, it could have been a good thing, but the way that she was drawn the majority of the time and everything, it was just like, ugh, she's gross. I don't want to touch her.
Like I just it wasn't even so much like being repelled by her. I just didn't really like her at all. I mean, I just didn't like her. I did like the
Like, there
Demon
wasn't any
Sisters.
redeeming quality.
Yeah, like I just didn't care.
Yeah, there just weren't as much redeeming qualities as there were with Chuck, you know.
Yeah, I love Chuck, man. He was the
Everybody loves
best. He took so much beatings from everybody.
My favorite part was when he was riding in the car with Stocking and he was just like, chuck, 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 chuck,
Oh,
chuck,
he was
chuck.
driving the Jeep.
It's like nobody knows what he was saying or what the fuck
Nobody
was
ever
going on, but he
understands
was just
anything.
constantly saying his name.
That's all you need to know.
And I think in the English version, don't quote me on this, but I think they just had him barking. Like it was just like, "Ruff, ruff, 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 ruff,
Terrible.
ruff." Yeah,
That's awful.
it's the worst.
That is weird.
That is pretty bad.
That's fucking lazy, is what it is. You change someone fucking spamming their name like a Pokemon to just bark. I mean, it's the same amount of letters. Goddamn.
Wait, did they really? Or I thought they kept Chuck.
I have no idea.
Granted, I only watched the first episode.
Noonie said not to quote him, but we're gonna quote him. Noonie said this.
No, just quote me. Quote the fuck out of me.
Noonie 2016, they changed Chuck to Bark.
He changed his name to Bark.
Changed his name to Bark.
And they still called him Chuck, but he just barked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gay.
Yeah.
If it's true.
Yeah.
And we don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
Which is probably not.
No. He is saying his name.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. He's saying
full
it,
of
but
shit.
Well, you
he's
can't look with your eyes, Mondo. You have
You
to
heard
look
it
with
here
your
first.
ears.
Nooney's full of shit.
No, fuck
he's
you, Mondo.
saying,
Fact
he's saying
checking
it, but it
ruins
just
podcasts.
sounds like he's saying tuck, tuck, tuck. But yeah, he's saying
You
Chuck.
should have
No,
known
they
Mondo
really
was
need
gonna
to duck.
fact check your ass.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Is it as
You
big
should
as
have
people say?
expected it. You should have expected it. We all have computers. This isn't the Ice Age.
I didn't think I was going to like Garterbelt as much as I ended up liking him.
I really liked Garterbelt.
I think he's my favorite.
I loved his.
I really liked his backstory.
His
backstory
backstory is fucking
was
amazing.
amazing. I loved his
because you
backstory.
could identify with him and his BDSM fetish.
I mean, it was more that like his curse was that he couldn't die. Like he kept coming back. I love like all of his different lives that he lived and stuff. It was pretty neat.
I like that he was like this young rough scallion, coming up through the underground, typical street urchin kid that ended
Urban
up
youth.
typical urban youth turning into Scarface, like any urban youth does, and dying in a blaze of glory,
And then he just died.
and then telling God that he'd break his limp dick with his ass.
So afterwards, was he just like repeatedly dying, or was he living continuously?
He can't. Wait, what do you mean? Like,
So
Wow.
after like he denied being I don't know, one of God's servants or whatever the fuck.
technically he would starve to death. He would die when he was eaten by that shark. He would have died from that meteor thing.
He just keeps
So he
getting-
just
Right,
keeps
what I'm
coming back to
saying is that
life.
like, was he dying and reviving, or was he just like not
he can't.
not dying
like
at all?
he's not
just
allowed
living
to pass
continuously?
on, so they keep respawning him.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay.
That's literally his curse. Like he keeps coming back. That's why he's like there serving them.
So
That's why
And they made a point at the end of the episodes, right?
Yeah.
The season.
When they made that paper mache model of him.
Yeah.
yeah, and then like towards the end, like during the final battle and stuff, when they murdered the shit out of him, he just pops back up. He's like, "Hey, here I am.
Here I am.
Here I am."
Guess what?
Oh my god.
God, my oh.
God.
I love those little transition things though. Like when it would show, like it would be the monster of the week, and then it would just be like a claymation form of it, which is another like budgeting tactic. I guarantee you that was another budgeting tactic.
No, that was fucking
They're
beautiful.
like
Fuck
instead
you,
of
Mike.
animating it, we'll just do this. Everyone will think it's clever, and it was.
And
but
it was. I
was
fucking
still
loved it.
saving money.
I thought
Firecracker and some foam.
Firecrackers, some foam, and Play-Doh.
Let's see who has the most time on their hands. Let's get fucking Jennifer to do it after work.
Jennifer and Billy, you form the shit monster and you blow it up.
Typical Japanese names.
Yes.
When I was watching it with Gabe, I had thought that was just gonna be for that one episode, and I was like, "Oh man, I really liked that. I really loved it." And then he told me they did it for all of them, and I was like,
And it was like even more.
my heart grew 3 times that day.
Noonie, that's a heart disease.
You're going to die. What did you guys think of the OST?
Love it.
It's great.
Or just like the soundtrack and like the background music in general, the BGM?
Yeah, I really like the background music itself. The intro was meh.
The intro was.
The ending was kind of catchy.
The ending was fucking gorgeous. I loved it.
Ending was really good. I do like Fly Away. The full version is really nice.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite though. My favorite is still I Want You, the Demon Sisters theme song. That's my favorite personally.
Yeah.
Juice is nice to listen to, just to get a good giggle out of. Panskata is really good too.
Fucking Panskata was my favorite. I think
Panskata's
that's the
really
one
good.
that they used for the trailer when it first came out.
Panskata sounds like what you would find at a samba in a carnival.
Yeah.
It
For
sounds
Brazil.
it sounds so familiar to me. Like
It-
when I first heard it back in 2010, it also sounded so familiar to me. I still can't find like what I'm thinking of when I think of it.
It
Do you
was in
think
a
of like
cumbia
samba?
remix that you heard at the club.
Yeah. It just reminds you of like a samba, like a carnival from Brazil.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has like a festive sound to it. But I mean, they like most of this music was like made to accommodate like action scenes and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
fitting that it would be something like that.
Teddy Lloyd is king.
Teddy Lloyd is good.
Yeah.
He made that one
Like-
meme song, me.
Me.
That nobody shuts the
Did he?
fuck up about.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he did. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot.
Mm-hmm.
the lyrics to that make it so much better.
They do because nobody actually looks at the lyrics.
They're just like, look, tits, anime, I love it.
I love the animes, and then women are like, "Let me dress up like the girl," and I'm like, "That's cool.
I love that.
You do that.
Yeah.
I'll sit over here."
Your skirt isn't short enough. I can't see the back of your panties. I really enjoyed the different art styles that they had. I didn't think that they would actually do the South Park art style that they did on the beach episode, and then all the different ones that they did for the what was it, Chuck to the Future.
I feel like the South Park thing was like just like a reoccurring gag, like from Fooly Cooly, where they did the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Do they do that in Kill la Kill?
No.
no. I'm thinking about it now, and no.
With different art styles?
No,
No,
they
just-
did like a South Park
yeah.
thing in Kill la Kill,
Oh.
but no, they didn't.
No.
They didn't do that in Kill la Kill. Kill la Kill was too busy trying to remember if they're trying to parody the shit or if they're actually just, absorbing the tropes that they're making fun of.
I like seeing Ren and Stimpy.
I didn't know that.
yeah.
I didn't know that was Ren and Stimpy at first.
Me either. It kind of confused me. I was like,
It wasn't until I actually saw the in quotes wife face to face, and I was like, that looks like Ren. Oh,
And then everything came together.
yeah.
And that looks like Stimpy.
By God, they're geniuses.
It must be from that show. What is it? Stimpy and Ren. Yeah.
One thing that kind of caught me off was there was an episode where they completely changed the art style, like all of a sudden,
Which one?
and
I think.
the one where the guy was
the
trying
vomiting
to.
one, right?
What's that?
The vomiting
Yeah,
one?
it was a vomiting one. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
where the guy was at work and
Yeah,
the other
that's the it wasn't shit.
Oh,
it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
the shit monster. It was vomiting. Yes, I
Yeah.
remember that. The art style was completely different. I
But-
love
Yeah.
that.
and
They
it
did
didn't
really nice with that.
it didn't catch me off because of the art style. Like, I loved it, but I will say that the first time I watched it, I was like, oh damn, am I watching the right thing?
What threw me off was that I didn't know how this was gonna tie into the show because you're literally for the first almost 10 minutes. You're watching this guy's
guy's life.
work and like his inner monologue about how he's working hard and he's trying to make it home in time to go to his daughter's birthday.
And everybody's just talking shit about it and talking shit to
Yeah.
him.
Everybody's just such an ass. I'm like, what is going
Yeah.
on? And then at the end, you remember that this isn't some fucking.
This isn't the sentimental, like,
This isn't the daily life of
an old man.
of a businessman down on his luck. This is Panty and Stocking.
they gave him an autograph.
They come crashing down and give him an autograph. Like, here you go.
But the thing that caught me off about that episode was why the fuck that girl was crying when she got the tortoise.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was so bothered by that. I was like, if you don't like it, just move it out of the way. Stop looking at it.
I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It bothered me to the point where I had to look it up because I was like, there has to be a fucking symbolic reason, right? So I'll tell you guys now. I'll read you my notes.
Let's look into news notes.
You see, the Japanese culture adopted many of its things from Chinese culture, and one of those things that it adopted was Chinese 4 guardian beasts.
Uh-huh.
That being the Azure dragon, the vermilion bird, and the white tiger, each representing east, south, north, and west. And there is one called the black tortoise, and it is said that it was considered that the tortoise does not remember the day and month of its birth, so calling someone a tortoise in China was considered offensive.
So from what I gather from what you're saying about the black tortoise is that it's kind of like giving her the turtle was like offhandedly telling her that she doesn't understand her roots or something like that. Like she doesn't understand where she's coming from, or he's calling her like a spoiled child, I'm guessing, or something. I don't know if I'm like reading too far into that. Or...
Maybe. But I'm just happy. I'm just happy that there's
an
at least some
this.
like little sliver of a reason why the fuck she was being such a piece of shit.
She just hated the turtle.
And I love the way that you said that he just gave her the turtle. That sounds fucking disgusting.
Well, you're the one that's drawing from that. Like,
Hey.
I don't actually know what. I mean, okay, I get it now.
Well, you see, Mike.
Yes,
whenever
I
it
know
gets
the
cold-
turtle head and the. Stop it, Mooney.
I'm sorry. All right, so back to Panty and Stocking.
Let's go back to Panty and Stocking.
Is that what we're supposed to watch?
That's that.
Yeah, I mean, I know you watched some of it, maybe on accident, but yes.
You mean it
You
wasn't
might have
supposed to be
stumbled
the
across
Powerpuff
the
Girls?
show.
No. But there is an episode where I want to compare and contrast Dexter Season 1 and Dexter Season 5, and also Powerpuff Girls Season 1 and Seasons, I guess, 3 or 4, whichever one the last one was. But I guess that'll probably be on a filler podcast.
Oh, you want to discuss like
Eventually-
the difference in art styles from that?
Difference in art styles and difference in just whatever differences there were in general. But that's for then. This is now
This is
Panty
now.
and Stocking.
Panty and
Oh boy. What a time to be
What a
alive.
ride!
6 years ago. What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive! 6 years ago, I was but a wee lad in high school, I think,
You were but a wee
or was
wee
I
lad.
out of high school at that point?
I was out of it.
What year? What year? 2010?
Yeah.
Oh no, I was like a year away from graduating. Wait, no,
I
I was
was,
a senior already. I was already a senior. Damn,
I was a sophomore in college.
I was already a senior.
Old man.
Old man Juan over here
No.
thinks he's better than everybody with his years
No.
of experience.
I remember in my day when anime was good.
Never.
Never. It's always been shit. Every season things get worse. Every season I have less shows I want to watch. I'm tired of fucking magical high schools, Noonie.
It's okay. You
The
just got like
haunting
3 or 4
realization
months.
This
that my
just
dad could say
in.
that.
New show, Magical Middle School.
Those exist.
A boy's life is changed when one day he meets a girl with silver hair.
But I will say this. I guess I'll probably say I guess I was in the wrong for hating the direction of Panty and Stocking because it's fairly popular in the U.S. And I guess I can attribute that mostly to the dub. Because I don't think people would actually go out of their way and look for this.
The thing is, though,
Yeah.
like I actually see a lot of like praise for the dub, though.
Do you?
I see more people saying that, like, they're like, I've seen people that have, like, and talked to people that are like, oh, yeah, I like Panty and Stocking. But, like, they're the kind that, like, only watched it while it was airing on, like, Cartoon Network and stuff like that. Or,
Was
like,
Yeah.
Airing in Cartoon Network?
yeah, it did. They had, like, a big commercial about it. They're like, yeah, we got this shit happening now. So,
Ah.
yeah,
I mean,
So you learn stuff every day.
I can
Mike.
kind of see the appeal. Like, say somebody who doesn't particularly watch anime in general, you know, like
It's
it
something
has-
more familiar.
Yeah, it has a lot of that same appeal, I guess, as like the other shows that they said that they were influenced
As-
from, like Joined Together, for example.
yeah,
or
like
whatever.
cartoons that are advertised as for adults when they're actually for, like, teens.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see that. Like, they're like,
12
this is what
ounce
an adult cartoon should be like, and then it's just
It should
just
be
a
Tom
bunch
Goes
of
to the Mayor.
fucking shitty
South
humor.
Park.
Yeah, shit like that. Like, yeah. And I feel like, I mean, this is probably a discussion for, like, another thing, so I won't go that in depth, but I feel like that's a problem for a lot of, like, modern animation, is that, like, they misappropriate their demographic in the sense that they believe that, like, this has to be this in order for it to be considered, like, an adult cartoon. So they're like, oh, yeah, that's catered towards adults. That means it's got to have, like, really shitty humor. It's got to have like swearing every 5 seconds. It has to be like heavy with fan service. Like they go down like a checklist of a bunch of shit that only teenagers would look at to begin with, and they're like, "That's an adult cartoon right there."
Yeah. I think they lost a lot of the finesse coming out of the '90s cartoons because there was a lot of adult humor and current events in like Animaniacs, and Rocko's Modern Life was hardcore. Ren and Stimpy was hardcore, even though it was for kids.
What I will say is an adult animation that's fairly recent that I really, really love was F is for Family by Bill Burr. It's on Netflix. You should watch it. The first episode, it starts off, but I gave it a shot and I kept watching it and I fell in love with it, especially at the end. It's a cartoon. It goes off the rails, but it's still fairly grounded as far as what the story is that's trying to be told is told.
Yeah, it doesn't like go out of its way to be zany.
Yeah, and it's made by Bill Burr.
Ooh.
So if you like Bill Burr, it's Bill Burr. Yeah. How do you guys feel about the way it ended?
Panty and Stocking?
Yeah. Well, I mean, nobody's watched F is for Family, so.
I mean, like, a lot of people were, like, angry, I guess, by the ending with the whole, see you next season and stuff like that.
To the point where they would say that Gynax ruined Christmas that year.
Gynax ruined Christmas in 2010. I mean, the first time I saw it, I wasn't really angered so much as I was disappointed that there was no continuation. I guess, but then at the same time, like after a little bit, I kind of like understood like why they wouldn't continue, because I was kind of like, well, I mean, the way they did the whole thing where where the villain was like, oh, now you have to go through this series of quests in order to reach your ending. I felt like they were joking, so like to have taken it seriously, I feel like I was an idiot, like to have taken it seriously.
And to explain the ending, spoilers. What happens is Stocking is a demon.
She turns out to be
a demon, and
she was actually working with Corset,
mm-hmm.
and she chops Panty into
666 individual little
cubes, and then as it turns out, they had not killed Corset, and he was just hiding. As an attachment to Brief's penis, and yet Brief never realized that till afterwards.
No.
And then, and like how I feel is that in a joking manner, he starts discussing how they're going to have to follow a trail down to hell and collect all of her pieces to put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, like my take on it was that I feel like they were just joking, and a lot of people took it too seriously. Maybe.
Well, I just wagged my finger and I was like, "Oh, Gynax, you trolls."
And I was actually spoiled on the ending, but I wouldn't have actually watched after the credits if you hadn't told me, because I had heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, what a fucking troll ending, this and that," and then I finished watching the episode and I was like, I don't understand where this is coming from.
Yeah, he was about to he was about to close the episode, and I was like, "No, stop! Keep going, Noonie." And then I was like, "Skip the song," and he's like, "But I like the song," and I said, "No, just keep going." And so he got to that. He's like, "Oh,
stop telling me how to live my life, man."
I had to stop him because I was like, "This can't end this way for Noonie."
No, I have to have that like hatred of Gynax.
He has to have that understanding, and so I forced him to watch it. I didn't necessarily tell him what it was gonna have in it, but I just needed him to see it so that he could have that understanding of like why people were kind of annoyed with the ending.
Kind of annoyed.
Kind of annoyed. Okay, people were autistically annoyed with this thing. Like, I'm gonna just put it like bluntly. People were like they went into autistic fits of rage over this thing. There was calls to burn down the Gynax building.
They were
Same
gonna
thing
buy
like
tickets.
Evangelion?
Yeah, just
Same
like
thing
with
with
Evangelion,
Evangelion.
there was calls to burn down these buildings because of the endings. I mean, if you think American weeboos are serious, you should see the Japanese fucking people. They are
That's
insane.
why I was wagging my finger.
They are insane.
Yeah, they don't even have to buy the plane tickets to burn down the building.
They
can
will just
go
walk
and burn
to it
down.
and do it. But yeah, the Japanese and American audiences alike were very angry with this with this ending. They were pretty fucking angry, and I'm not joking when I say there were calls to burn down the building, because there were calls to burn down the Gynex building
And death threats.
and death threats.
It says so on Twitter.
So on the Twitter twat. Well, Twitter wasn't around
No,
then.
I mean it was, but
I mean,
it wasn't.
I don't think it was. Was it?
I don't know.
What? Come
Yeah,
on,
like it's
we're in high
2012.
school. You don't remember that shit?
Fuck, I don't use most of these social
I
facets.
didn't use them either, but I fucking heard all over
It
about
took me like God knows how long to learn how to use Twitter, and I felt like an idiot because I
I
was like,
still don't know how to use
Is
Twitter.
this how the feeds work? Look, I tweeted somebody, and I feel like an old person. And then I found out you could find a lot of porn on Twitter, and I was like,
You could
this
find
is amazing.
a lot of fucking porn.
I
on
was like,
Twitter.
this is amazing.
The amount of porn stars I follow
Twitter
on
is
there.
great.
The people-
Twitter is
Hashtag
amazing.
Chubby.
So how many panty out of stockings would you give this?
Panty out of
Panty out of stocking. That's I don't know, dude.
I guess you know what? How many? Let's do it out of 6 stockings to have an even amount of stockings.
An even amount of stocking.
How many pannings out of 6 stockings would you give this?
4.
Damn
I
it,
mean,
I was gonna say that.
yeah, I mean, the music direction was good. I love the art style. I didn't really care about the plot because that was pretty much just like it took a backseat to everything else. So, I mean, I like the style and stuff. The humor was, while it was funny at times, sometimes it did get a little bit overbearing for me, even during my rewatch. So, yeah, I'd say 4 is a good 4 out of 6.
I'd give it 4 stockings and 1 knee sock.
1 knee song.
But how
There
many
was
panties?
No, 4 panties.
4 panties. 4 panties, 4 stockings, 1 knee sock.
What does that add up to?
I don't know. I guess it'd be like a 4.5.
It was laundry day
Pretty
and I lost the
raunchy good
sock.
time.
That happens to me all too often.
Yeah.
I would probably give it 4.5 panties out of 6 stockings.
Man, this rating system makes no sense to me.
It makes perfect
It doesn't make
sense.
any sense, but
You
I'm
see,
making
no.
do
You see,
with what we got.
there's 6. There's
Wait,
6
do you rate
stockings.
every show this way?
No,
No,
we usually
they're
have
worse.
the correct increments of 5 or 10, but today Nooney's
No,
Nooney
you
wants
see, like,
even.
He's a little
there's
autistic today.
there's 6. I mean, you can't have 5 fucking stockings. What's wrong with you? Do you have 1 leg?
I mean,
and if you
Christmas
do,
stocking.
why don't you
some
just have
people
1?
do.
Yeah,
why
dude,
don't
are
they
you
just have
fucking
1?
ableist?
Yeah. And if you think it's, middle of the road, you just give it 3. If you think it's, better, you give it, more. There's an actual middle. You don't have to give it a 2.5 out of 5 for it to be like average.
Can I give it a 3.5 out of 6?
Yeah, only if they're panties.
You just gotta be a special person, don't you? You always gotta be the special snowflake.
So you're
Mom.
going to give it 3.5 panties out of 6 stockings.
Yes.
I give it 3 stockings and 1 panty.
All right,
Oh.
there you go.
So not the 4 stockings, but
But how many knee socks and corsets?
Nooney, you're confusing me.
look, no,
You're confusing me. Nooney.
shut up. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it wasn't a spectacular show. It definitely wasn't a boring show. It did have a lot of like really good, funny moments, and I'm glad I watched it. But again, it was just like one of those shows that you could watch at any point during the entire like show
Yeah.
and not really miss anything, and it really wouldn't matter whether you watched the whole thing or not, which I didn't.
I'm glad that I watched this in college because I had a lot more time and I had internet.
You see,
watched
Juan
this
doesn't have
show.
internet at the moment.
Juan's on here through the grace of God or something.
You just have a really long cable. Like
We have
the
a
thing you do with
copper wire
cups.
tied to his esophagus all the way to Mooney's computer.
God, I saw this back in high school, and then I saw it again after I graduated, and then I saw it again for this week to watch it. So I've seen it 3 times or so. each time I've been like more or less the same. I mean, yeah. I don't know where I was going with this.
You just wanted to ramble.
7 panties out of
7 panties out of 10.
I give it
out
9
of 10
Carter Bones.
stockings.
All right, Gabriel. What would you rate it out of 5? Since you're so
now it
against this
changes
rating
again.
system.
And
I
here he
wasn't
was
against
already
it.
trying to
How
calculate.
many Gabriels out of 5 Gabriels do you give it, Gabriel?
You're doing the math and you threw everything out of whack.
Gabriel thumbs of approval. How many Gabe thumbs of approval do you give it, Gabe?
You have 2.
I mean,
you could use
Oh my god, come on, guys.
He gives it 1.
The math is confusing me.
All right, so
out of 6 stockings.
Now he's got to go get his notes again.
yeah, hold on. I'm probably about a 4. Like, I remember liking the show a lot when you first told me, "Oh, we're gonna do this show for the podcast." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I really like that show," but I could not remember a single reason why. It was like when I watched it again, it was like watching the show for the first time, basically.
Yeah.
Turns
But-
out Gabe was talking about the Powerpuff Girls.
I really like the Powerpuff Girls. Bubbles is my favorite.
But yeah, it's just a really entertaining show. You don't really have to think too hard about anything. It's just gonna be really manic and crazy for a little bit, and then entertains you.
So, one more thing. Since you 3 are watching it for like the second or third time or whatever, I guess you already basically answered this, but just to put in the question, what's the like rewatch value? Would you be able to like rewatch this even say?
I'd say it isn't high.
It isn't
It isn't-
high, but like, okay, let's say tomorrow some people were like, "Hey, let's watch this show." I'd probably be like, "Nah."
Yeah, if you give it some time.
Yeah, give me some time and I'll watch it, but don't fucking be like, "Let's watch it again." I'll be like, "No."
Yeah. If I forget all the majority of the episodes, I'll rewatch it. For
Yeah.
example, I haven't watched any of the episodes for this podcast, except for that one that I was watching with Danny, and then one with Mondo, and that's it. But I remember.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
a higher retention.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
those episodes.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I
I
have
was there.
terrible memories, so like when I forget it, I'll be like,
Oh,
"Let's
is this
do it
the new
again."
episode?
Yeah, so like
Season
I said,
2's out, guys.
I just found out about this show, guys. It's pretty good, but no, yeah, like given enough time to more or less forget the show, I will rewatch it.
Yeah.
I kind of think about it like all the fucking Cartoon Network shows. Like, you know, like you could watch one of these just because it was already on and you wouldn't mind seeing it.
Just have it
And
on
again,
the
because
background.
it's just
already
like, well,
there.
it's on. I'm already watching it. Might as well finish it or whatever.
Yeah, I could see that. I could agree with that sentiment.
All right. That being said, Mondo, get the wheel.
Huh? Oh,
Jesus, take the wheel.
yeah, the wheel.
Yeah, the wheel.
Who's gonna get to spin it this time? Is it Gabe?
Yeah, Gabe's gonna spin
Yeah,
it.
Gabe is our guest speaker today.
All right,
so
spin master Gabe.
Wait, hold on.
spin the wheel, Gabe. Hold on.
Okay, I found the wheel. You see the wheel, Gabe? You turn this lever over here, and then you pull the pulley right there, and then you gotta honk this horn 3 times, otherwise it won't spin properly. Okay, did you get that?
Honk the horn 2 times.
Damn it, Gabe! You're spinning it wrong. What did you do?
You broke the wheel, Gabe.
God damn it, Gabriel. Well, seeing as you fucking broke the wheel, I guess let's just watch Ergo Proxy. How's that?
Okay. Let's watch some Ergo Proxy.
Let's watch some Ergo
Way to go,
Proxy.
Gabe! You ruined it for everyone.
That's why you brought me on, right?
Yes.
It's
Gabe
all I
was
ever
Hitler
wanted.
all along.
To ruin the podcast and never show again.
Never show up again.
like,
All right,
man.
but yes, we're gonna watch Ergo Proxy.
Ooh, another short one, I think, right?
Ergo Proxy is,
Or is it 26?
It's in the 20s, 26, 24.
I guess I'll watch it.
Yes. I will tell you though, the Ergo Proxy has a few subs. One of which will explain in painstaking detail every fucking symbolic thing in the show.
Like in the little notes that they put at the top.
Yeah, well, the
Is it
thing
like
is,
that Code Geass picture?
um,
When they're playing chess?
almost. But the thing is, they don't do it as it's happening. They do it at the end of the episode, so it's like it'll finish after the credits, and then it'll have its own
And they give you
continuation.
a novel to read.
Yeah, no. Then they'll be like, it'll be like, all right, you remember that scene with the fucking red ribbon? Well, guess what? And then it'll start going on, but it's not super long details. I thought that was a pretty interesting thing. I can't remember the subgroup that did it, but I'm just telling you guys that might more or less help out with it. The details in the show, I'll just let you guys figure it out for yourself. You decide what you want to do, and then we'll go on that.
Are you calling me stupid?
Yeah.
Are you saying I can't figure them out myself?
I'm saying that you're not going to figure them out yourself.
I just watched Panty and Stocking, bro. I mean, come on.
It's the height of symbolism right here with the fucking black turtle. Why was the
You
girl
see the
crying?
panty
Mooney?
symbolize
Why was the girl crying?
I told you. See, I'm smart, Mike. I could figure things out.
All right.
So as always, if you want to contact us in any way, you could reach us at mbtpodcast@gmail.com. On Twitter, we are the Magical Broadcast because MBT Podcast was taken. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/MBT Podcast. And we have a YouTube. We'll see whenever that happens. Yeah.
We have a YouTube.
We have a YouTube.
We have a YouTube?
Yeah. We have a YouTube.
What's a YouTube?
I'm glad you asked, Billy.
You see, if you pay $9.99 a month. But anyway, we'll catch you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye.